The free funding is over.
Yeah. I always get asked the question, how long is this going to take? What's the timeline?
You don't know what the software is going to do and the architecture you need to build for something that's a year out. You need to find product market fit because you can't plan out complex work.
As an engineer, I want to know what I'm building is actually going to matter. Mm-hmm. It's going to mean something. It's going to be used.
Cool. We're going to build this, and this is going to earn the money for the business, and this is going to pay our bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, I see the obvious value in it, but I also see the cost associated with it.
Where does all the money go?
Yeah.
Like 10 FTEs, right? And an engineering manager. That's a lot of money you're blowing every sprint.
Military project, I want to say, a Scrum team of 8 to 10 people with the mixed disciplines, I think estimated like 1.7 million.
Does somebody get their head chopped off, right? And then that's the question, it's like, is the rest of the business actually agile?
Here's something that I built. I want you to look at it. I want you to break it apart. I want you to tell me what's good. I want you to tell me what's bad. I want you to give me suggestions on how it can be made better. I like those discussions, and then having a process that says, we're doing, this isn't just engineers, we're doing this all around. I think that's a magical thing in our world.
It's like businesses want predictability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've never seen an accurate formula for calculating ROI from sprint points.
And yeah, you might show up at sprint review and say, hey, we spiked around this, we got nothing.
Yeah.
This does not work.
Yeah.
If we want to do this, it takes 9 months of architectural investment.
Yeah.
Right? And then the rest of the organization is like, that's not great.
Never erase the fact that there was something that had to be delivered, right?
Yeah.
Good
Which
on
enforces discipline too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because you'd go 2 sprints and feeling like pretty good, and then by sprint like 4, you're like, oh crap.
You know, in Star Wars, when they kind of, when they bring in that, rebel ship into the Death Star, and all these like good faith kind of Jedis walk out that thing, and oh yeah, we're the good guys. We're transparent about everything.
Not done correctly, you will code towards a demo more than you code towards building a platform.
Definitely.
That's the danger. It takes like a lot of product operations and like marketing analytics to also have an understanding for the business to say, all right, this is actually a good product that we launched.
Okay, you're launching this, but if you have a marketing team of 100 people that are going to push this like crazy and the user is going to come running in, it's not going to hold up.
You need to inspect what you got in order to adapt and then iterate, right?
I work right now with a Fortune 100. I'm not very transparent in my sprint reviews with that organization.
Yeah.
Because if we actually showed that...
Because it might backfire on you, right? That's a cultural thing once again.
Right.
It's like that transparency can be pretty dangerous.
Yep.
All right, it's like you have this machine, you're making them build this feature. How do you know this works? Have you done the feature benefit analysis? Mm-hmm. Because yes, products now need to earn money.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. That's a fantastic thing, right? Because
EBITDA used to be such a bad word. Now it's back in...
No, it's so literally like the framework that I now started to become trainer for is called software profit streams, because a product that generates profit is sustainable. It pays for itself. Yeah. What's the tangible and intangible value that we're transporting to the customer, and how do we monetize it, right? And then if you've got the money flowing in, then you can allocate your funding to, whatever works best for the customer.
Let's give ourselves the ability. Off-ramps every 2-3 weeks, right? Yeah. That was great. But then it's like all that focus went into maintaining those off-ramps every 2 to 3 weeks versus like, what's the actual value of what we're building here?
Exactly. Right? Because like you're pulling on your pants in the sprint review, right? It's like, this is what we've done, right? But then like, how does the rest of the organization vibe with that? And then agility hopefully is like part of corporate culture where you have a failure culture and everybody can say, okay, we messed up here, but it's cool because we learned of it, right? Yeah. But is it really cool for the stakeholders? I don't know.
If the end result or the review wasn't exactly like the expectations, what happened throughout to make this a success?
I'm part of a system that I shape and that I can make better. Like I'm making myself better, organization gets better, value to customer gets better.
For anyone that needs to reach a certain point to get funding, it's almost a killer, purely for the fact that you have to agree on some form of scope.
It's because as a startup, you're running out of money all the time. You don't monetize your product right now.
But if you get no actual live users to actually test your scale, what's the point of building a scale?
And
right?
are you going to pivot away from needing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah. What is it that we actually gain from bringing something to market? I think Scrum and Agility have put the product owner role into a technical interface to engineering teams. Whereas I think product management is actually somebody with commercial responsibility to make sure that the revenue is coming in. We're going to have your business model in a better shape compared to last year because we're building this stuff. So I think a product owner just say, oh, I'm managing the backlog, which is, I think, like not a healthy thing that Scrum actually like made people do is, oh, I'm just managing the backlog. I'm the scribe here, right? I'm documenting stuff. That's not a product role in my opinion. But that's also because AI hopefully is going to be like, all right, you have a user experience specification. This is how it automatically becomes backlog items such that an engineer looks at it and he's like, oh, like imagine like a Figma file that talks to you. This is how I kind of imagine hopefully in the future.
You need to understand what it's going to cost you and can you afford that approach?
I think the coolest thing about agility is, and this is a little bit of like a naive or philosophical pipe dream, is I think agility, once again, it's like, I think like a good faith philosophy. Ideally, every team member in a Scrum team and an Agile team has got this feeling like I am part of a system that I can change, right? It's like I can improve this team. I produce technology that the company uses and I can shape the organization that I'm in.